Hello people, in this video let us look at this randomized control trials, okay, RCT, randomized control trials. So what exactly is this? So you can see it is an experimental study, intervention study, that is experiment, you're doing some experiment, right? So you can say that some clinical trial, that means you have a new drug and you want to test it. So it's an experiment, it's an intervention, you're not just observing something. If you look earlier what we have seen, there are observational studies, that is under epidemiologic methods, right? You have observational studies you have and you have experimental studies. In observational studies, you don't give them any drugs, you just observe. So what and all you have descriptive studies, analytical studies, right? Now we are moving on to experimental studies with intervention, right? Interventional studies where you have clinical trials, random controlled trials. Apart from that, you have field trials, community trials, etc. So this randomized controlled trial, so the unit of study is what? The patient. Okay, so you're taking some patients and you're giving them a new drug that you found. So that is a clinical trial of the drug. So the unit of study is the patient. So we are looking at RCT, randomized controlled trial. So they will ask the steps in RCT. Okay, so the steps in RCT: drawing up a protocol. So what are the steps? Drawing up a protocol. Then you have selecting reference and experimental population. So you're going to select people, randomly divide them, manipulation or intervention. You'll give them the drug, you'll follow up to see what happened to them, assess the outcome. So first of all, drawing up a protocol. What do you do in this? You specify the following basic information before the commencement. Like, what is the aim of the study? Right? What is the aim of the study? What is the criteria for selection of the study group and control group? What is the size of the sample? Right? What is the size? What is the aim? What is the size? What is the selection criteria? Procedures to allocate people into study group and control group. So you have two groups, study group and control group. So study group will receive your actual drug, the new one that you found, right? Then you have intervention that you will do. What is the procedure, methodology of procedure? You will give them a tablet or an injection or what? Cooperation of the participants is till the end. Okay, all that is the protocol. So you will establish the protocol. Then selecting the reference and experimental populations. So now you will go and select this population, reference and experimental population, same word only, reference and experimental population. These people are people who are patients, they have some particular disease. Then what you will do, you will divide them into this study group and control group, right? You will take this reference and experimental population randomly. This randomization is mentioning here. You will randomize and selection of study and control group. Okay, you will divide. So this is the central component of randomized control trial. This is the central component, RCT. This is known as the heart of a trial. Okay. So it provides every individual from the reference population an equal opportunity to be selected into either group. So these people have disease, but they cannot choose whether they will get the new drug or not. Okay. So they'll be randomly put into study or control group. Then this randomization, what they are doing, randomly they are putting the people into study or control group. This is going to remove bias. Okay, so this is going to remove randomization, eliminates bias and allows comparability. This is very important. This randomization is the heart of the RCT, right? It's the heart of the trial. It is a central component. It is everybody should get an equal opportunity. There should be no bias. So this randomization is very, very important. So all this bias is gone, right? No bias, no bias. So what is the next step? Manipulation or intervention. This is the time you are actually giving them the drug, right? Who is getting the drug? The study group is getting the drug. The study group is getting the new drug and the control group will get a placebo. They will not know whether it is everything looks the same, right? These people also will get a nice tablet. These people also will get nice tablet. Nobody knows, nobody will know what they are getting. So that will be another type of blinding here, right? So study group will get this new drug. Control group will get this placebo or an old drug, okay, which they want to compare against. So after this, what will happen? Follow up. So follow-up is periodic and regular examination will happen for both the groups, right? So you have some people here, some people here. You will follow up, you will find out their health, you will do periodic and regular examinations at different intervals. Results will be submitted to statistician. Okay, then loss of follow-up due to death or migration of an individual is called attrition. So now if you can't follow up with somebody, what will happen? This person was there in the study. Now either he died or he migrated. So this is called as attrition. So what is attrition? So you got another terminology to write here for the exam. Attrition. So when you're doing follow-up, you don't get somebody, that becomes attrition. So this will substantially affect outcome of the study. Okay. Then last, what is last? Assessment of outcome. Okay. Assessment of outcome, this is the final step of this trial. Obviously, we can see that. So it may be positive or it may be negative. Positive means what? The new drug is better, and negative means the new drug is not better. Okay. So the same thing, you draw a nice flow chart also. So you select a population, you can write, then you can no, first you set up the protocol, then you do selection of the population, then you divide them into study and control. Right, this is called as randomization. This will remove selection bias. Then to do this group, you give study group, you give the intervention. To control, you give placebo or the new, old drug. Then you do follow up. Then you do assessment. That's it. And here you remove some people and indicate attrition. That's it. So that was some flowchart that you can draw for exam. Okay. See that same flowchart they have given here. Are you able to see? Okay. So let us look at each step in detail from the textbook. First of all, protocol, guys. So it is essential feature. You establish the protocol, strict protocol. Aims, we said the criteria for the selection, the size of the sample, how it should be, the procedure, how it should be, then procedure to give the drug, right? You should remove bias. You should have protocol that aims to remove bias and reduce the source of error, right? And then you can have a preliminary test run. That is, you can have a pilot study to make, to see whether this thing is feasible or not, right? So all that will come in protocol. You will know whether it has any flaws, etc. Now let us see selecting reference and experimental population. So this is the second step. You will find experimental reference population. So what will you do here? You will basically you will find people to whom this drug is applicable. So you will find the patients basically, or in case of vaccines you will find the people, the target population basically. The reference population may be a large. It may be very broad, or it may be geographically limited, or it may be limited to specific age, gender, occupation, social groups, etc. So basically it will comprise people of a whole city, or a school children, or industrial people, or obstetric population, etc. Right? Now let us move on to the third step. What is the third step? See, first step was establish the protocol, then you will get the population, then you are going to do randomization, and you are going to divide it into study population and control, right? So experimental or study population, these are the people who actually get the drug, right? These are the people who actually get the drug. Fine. And they are randomly chosen. Then, so it is important to choose a stable population, it says, so that we can follow up with these people and all that. They should be able to give informed consent, for this trial. You should be explaining the purpose of this, the procedure, the dangers also you should explain to them. And they should be representative of the population to which they belong. Reference population, they should be eligible, qualified for the trial. Okay, example, they are saying if you are finding treatment for anemia, if the volunteers are not anemic, then they are not eligible, right? This is important. See here, the participants must be fully susceptible to the disease under the study. So if you are giving a vaccine also, you will select a population which is susceptible to the disease. Okay, not that who are already immune to that disease. We will find population who are susceptible to the disease, right? So after, so where are we currently? Randomization. So randomization is the part of that division into study group and control, right? So randomization. So this randomization is a statistical procedure, okay, where the participants are allocated into groups called study and control groups to receive or not receive the drug, right? So randomization is an attempt to eliminate bias, and it allows for comparability. It allows for what? Comparability. This word is again important. It allows for comparability. Okay. And So you can match. Match means what? You should know what you're trying to match, right? You will try to match the age. So here, if there are people, 5 people under 50 years of age, here also you will try to keep 5 people under 50 years of age. So you will try to match some factor which is known and which is supposed to be important. So here, important terminologies here. Randomization is the heart of control trial. Greatest confidence that the groups are comparable. Eliminating the selection bias. Every individual gets equal chance of being allocated into either group. So they're just adding one more point here. The population that you took, you can make it into subgroup. And from the subgroups, you can pick up people, like so many subgroups will be there. From that, each subgroup, you can pick up people randomly for study and control. Something like this they are saying, okay. So they are saying that the name RCT, so in that RCT is there, right? RCT, that one is the randomized control trial. So that R you remember, okay? Randomized control trial. So they are saying how is it different from analytical study? There is no randomization there. Here there is randomization. So going back, we saw that there is observation studies and experimental studies. Now we are looking at randomized control trials, RCT. But analytical studies and and this one, what is different? In analytical studies, there was no randomization. Okay, so here you have people with disease, without disease, something like that. But here in randomized control trials, you're taking everybody who's the patient, you can say. Okay, and you're randomly dividing them. So in experimental study, you have intervention and you have randomization. Now let's go to this one, manipulation. So in manipulation, there is actual intervention, right? So there is, you're giving the person the drug, the vaccine, the dietary component or a habit, right? So basically whatever was laid down in the protocol. So that is actual intervention is going to happen here, actual manipulation to the individual, right? So manipulation, this manipulation creates an independent variable whose effect is then determined, right? In the outcome, what will you determine? The effect of this independent variable, which constitutes the dependent variable, incidence of disease, survival time, recovery time. Some variable and what is there? Independent variable, dependent variable. So dependent variable is the incidence of disease, survival time, recovery period, and independent variable is the drug, vaccine, new procedure. The drug is the independent variable and the dependent variable is the disease, survival time, recovery period. Okay, so independent variable is the drug, just remember that. Now let's move on to follow up. So now what will you do? You will follow up, right guys? Timely follow up, standard manner with equal intensity, same under the same given circumstances, same time frame till the final assessment of outcome, right? So if there is any mortality or the migration, what will that become? Or if there's loss of interest and they don't come for follow-up, this is known as attrition. That word is here, attrition, right? If the attrition is substantial, then you may not be able to get proper results. It will be difficult to generalize the results of the study. I think there is something like how much attrition is allowed. Wait, let's check. As of now, I'm not getting that value. Anyways, if the attrition is substantial, it will be difficult to generalize the results. Okay. Then let's move on to assessment. Assessment is the final step. Yes, it is the final step. The outcome of the trial is the final step. So you will have positive results, right? You can have positive results or negative results. So positive results means what? The benefits of the experimental measure, like there is reduced incidence or severity of the disease, etc., etc. So that will be positive. Negative means the severity and frequency of side effects, complications, death, etc. Adverse effects may be missed if they are not sought. You have to look at them also. So the cost also, if the cost is good, cost to health service, then it will be a positive result, right? Then you can compare the results as if when you receive them, but it is better to analyze the results at the end of the trial. You will get the results, but analyze it at the end of the trial. Bias may arise from errors of assessment. There can be error of assessment also. Wow. So first of all, there may be bias on the part of the participants. They may, feel better, report improvement. They may simply just say they are feeling better because they got the new treatment, right? So that will be subject variation. So there may be observer bias. The person who's giving who's investigating, right? They also may be influenced if he knows that he has given the new drug. So he may think that yes, the person is better. So let us say this guy is getting the drug, right? And there's another guy who's giving the drug, right? This guy knows he has given the new tablet. This guy knows he's receiving the new tablet. So this guy will report that he's feeling better, though he may not be actually feeling better. And this guy may think that this guy is feeling better because he has given the new drug to him. So there's two variations here. Subject variation, or what is this? Subject variation, and then there is an observer bias. They are using the word bias for observer bias, and this is subject variation. Okay. Thirdly, there may be a bias in evaluation. Okay. So the investigator may subconsciously give a favorable report to the outcome of the trial because he wants to sell his drug or what? Randomization cannot guard against these sort of biases. In order to reduce these problems, a technique known as blinding is adopted. So what is blinding? Let's look at blinding. Single blind, double blind trial, triple blind trial. There are three things. Single blind trial is the participant is not aware what he's getting. Double blind is neither the participant nor the doctor who is giving the drug will know. Triple blind is where this goes one step further. The participant, the investigator, and the person analyzing the data all are blind. Okay. Blind means it is in double quotes. They are not really blind. They do not know as to who got what drug, etc. Triple blinding should be used ideally, but double blinding is most frequently used. Okay. When an outcome such as death is being measured, blinding is not so essential. Okay. So when you are, if the person has died, then blinding is not essential. You will have to check, right? When an outcome such as death is being measured, blinding is not so essential. So what are the three types of blinding? Single, double, triple. Single, double, triple. Single, participant doesn't know. Double, participant doesn't know, investigator doesn't know. Triple, participator, investigator and the analyzer. All the three people won't know. This is the best ideal, but they actually use double. Okay, so what and all will you remove in this? You will remove the subject variation and observer bias. These two will be removed. Okay, this is the ending part. What are the types of randomized control trials? Remember, randomized control trial is very good. It is better than even cohort study, etc. Now, for what and all types are there? Types, if they ask, say clinical trials. Okay, and then what and all you have? Preventive trials. Then you have risk factor trials. Okay, risk factor trials. Then that's the third. Cessation experiment, like trying to terminate smoking, something like that. Then you have trial of etiological agents. Trial of etiological agents, whether you want to confirm or refute etiological hypothesis, the cause, right? Then sixth one is here. Sixth one is evaluation of health services. Okay. So let us look at the 6 types of randomized control trials. So you have what and all? Clinical trial. So clinical trial is where you want to evaluate drugs, etc. Right? So example, they have told here something, evaluation of beta blocker or trial of aspirin, efficacy of tonsillectomy. So this is a procedure, bypass surgery. In clinical trials, no, not always you can use blinding because you don't know tonsillectomy you want to do, then you won't be able to, the person who's performing definitely knows he's doing tonsillectomy, isn't it? And the person who's receiving it also knows he's getting tonsillectomy. Not always you can have blinding, that's what you have to focus here. Remember, clinical trials are on humans and preclinical trials are on animals, etc. In clinical trials itself, you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, etc. Even phase 0 is there nowadays. So basically, remember it is on people. Initially, they will do it on healthy people to check if there is any side effect. Then they will give it to patients. Okay. So, phase 4, phase 1 on human, healthy people, phase 2 on patients, phase 3 on patients again. Phase 4 is after the marketing and all that. Okay. So, this will be like forever it will go on, right? Once marketing, long-term side effects, you will find again on patients. For patients only they will give, right, the drug. So this was the clinical trial, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Preventive trials. Preventive trials means trials of primary preventive measures such as vaccine or chemoprophylactic drugs. So just remember, preventive trials is for what? Vaccines or chemoprophylactic drugs. Very good. So this is primary prevention, you can say, preventive trials. So basically here the study group will get the vaccine, right? And then you will see how many people still catch the disease. Control group will not get the vaccine, and how many people will catch the disease. They will expect more people to catch the disease in the control. So this is a preventive trial, right? So in preventive trial, there must be clear statement about the benefit, the risks involved, the costs, same things, okay? And this will involve lot more people and longer time span, okay? This preventive trial will involve more people, more time span. Next, third, we are moving to risk factor trials. Risk factor trials means to trials of risk factor involving risk factor modification. So you just want to modify the risk factor. So major risk factors for coronary heart disease are elevated blood cholesterol, smoking, hypertension, sedentary habits. So you want to modify the risk. These are modifiable risks, so you want to modify them, right? So this is risk factor trial. So you will ask that person to reduce blood cholesterol, stop smoking, control their hypertension, right? And do some normal exercise daily. So you will see what benefit is there, right? Here they are talking about some drug called clofibrate, which they use to reduce cholesterol. But this was really not so good, they are saying. A lot of people who took this clofibrate died. That's what they are saying here. Okay, what is written here? The other widely reported risk factor intervention trials in coronary heart disease. They have some names. The Stanford 3 community study, some other complicated name here. Finland, Oslo study. Okay, Oslo study, multiple risk factor intervention trials in USA. So many names are there. Oslo, if you want, you can remember. Then cessation experiment, fourth one. After this, just two more, right? Yeah, so we will finish it off. Cessation experiments, termination of a habit. This is the same thing which we saw in risk factor, isn't it? So same thing, cigarette smoking, lung cancer. So one group of cigarette smokers continue to smoke, the other has given up. So this is more like telling those people to continue smoking. Interesting. Sounds the same as before, right? Then, trial of etiological agents. Trial of etiological agents. So this is about the cause, right? What is this they are telling here? So you want to confirm that exactly what the cause is. Like here they are saying if you administer oxygen to premature babies, right? There is a close association with what? Retrolental fibroplasia. Okay. RLF. Retrolental fibroplasia. Right. It's a leading cause of blindness. And it was occurring only in premature babies. So the analytical studies demonstrated its close association with the administration of oxygen to premature babies. So basically, a premature baby, they give oxygen, so the blood vessels do not develop in the eye properly, and the babies go into RLF, retrolental fibroplasia. It is a cause of blindness. Okay. So the experimental group, they received the oxygen therapy. The control group, here it is curtailed oxygen group. Oxygen was used only for clinical emergency. If there was emergency, only they gave. Okay. Fine. So people who do not receive the oxygen, they had nothing like this. Okay. RLF, they didn't have. So retrolental fibroplasia started decreasing a lot after they stopped giving oxygen. So you can see here they have written sharp drop in the graph after this year highlights the results of the decreased use of oxygen. Last type of randomized controlled trial, that is evaluation of health services. You want to evaluate effectiveness, efficiency of health services. How do you assess? Okay. So here they are saying that they found that the domiciliary treatment of pulmonary tuberculosis was as effective as the hospital treatment. So the domiciliary treatment was anyways effective than the hospital treatment, and hospital treatment was more costly. So the era of domiciliary treatment came in, the new era in the treatment of tuberculosis. So we are done with this RCT, randomized controlled trials. What did we see in this? We saw that it is a type of experimental or interventional study. Then we saw that it is very good, better than cohort study. So here what and all you will do, protocol you will establish, you will select a population, then you will do randomization and put them into study group and control group, study group and control group. Before that you can have subgroups also, right? Then you will do the manipulation, right? Manipulation or intervention. Then you will do follow-up. Then you will assess the outcome, right? Then you will draw one flow chart for this. What are the advantages? Randomization will eliminate selection bias. Double blinding will eliminate the subject, subject variant and investigator bias, right? Then you have 3 types of blinding: single blind, double blind, triple blind. Then types of randomized control trials, if you ask, you will say clinical trial, preventive trial, risk factor trial, cessation experiment, etiological agent. You will try to find etiological agent, trial of etiological agents, and evaluation of health services. So these are the 6 types of randomized control trials you will write. Clinical trial, to check the new drug. Preventive, basically vaccine trials. R is what? Risk factor trials. You will check whether the risk factor involving risk modification. You do risk modification. Cessation, you will try to ask them to stop smoking, etc. E is etiological agents. You will try to find the cause, like in that eye blindness because of oxygen. Then health services efficiency. Basically, they found that domiciliary treatment of tuberculosis is better than hospital treatment. Okay, it is as effective. It's not better. It's as effective as hospital treatment. But as hospital treatment is anyways expensive, domiciliary treatment is better. Okay. That completes randomized controlled trials. Bye-bye.